All right, so this morning we're talking about a very important topic. Mount Rainier has the most glacier ice of any peak in the lower 48, but still, geologists estimate it's lost more than half its total ice since 1900. To talk more about this new research, we're chatting with Scott Beason, a geologist in Washington State for Mount Rainier. Scott, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Good morning, thank you.
Okay, so hey, recent research found that the south-facing Stevens Glacier has disappeared entirely. Why are Mount Rainier's glaciers so important to preserve?
So yeah, Mount Rainier has the most ice of all Cascade volcanoes and most ice of all volcanoes in the lower 48 states. And the glaciers are a large reservoir of water that is provided to the summer, to melting in the summer, and that water is cool water that is good for fish and aquatic organisms that are really especially suited for that environment.
Yeah, I wanted to dive deeper into that. Great topic. I mean, how does Mount Rainier's melting affect the environment, and why are those water temperatures so crucial for fish?
Yep. So fish especially are suited. They're like bull trout, and there's a bunch of other aquatic organisms that are suited for a specific temperature regime. So the glaciers represent this mass of cold water that is continuously provided during the warmest times of the year, during the summer months. And that water, that they're very suited for those temperatures. The fish are very suited for those temperatures. And basically they, if that water temperature starts to increase, we're going to lose the environment for those fish to be in those locations.
Yeah, those water temperatures are so important. You know, glaciers, they lock in water and sediment, and so when they melt, there's the risk for debris flows. Tell me more about that.
Yep. So that's one of my big interests right now, is studying debris flows and outburst floods. And glaciers represent two large things in the physical aspect here of storage of water and then the stability of debris. So you can imagine a large mass of ice on Mount Rainier. During the summer months, when we get like a long period of hot weather, the water goes to the base of the glaciers, and the water can accumulate and actually cause the glacier to lift a little bit, and all of that water then can surge out. So there's a storage of water, but then the stability debris, as you retreat ice, you're leaving behind vast amounts of unsorted and unstable material that when this surge of water comes out, it can very quickly pick up this material and turn into a debris flow. So you get, it's called an outburst flood, and then it can turn into a debris flow, and then these debris flows can go down and affect many miles downstream, can affect park infrastructure.
Yeah, losing that, stability. So important to bring up those debris flows. Okay, so I know that the purpose of this paper, it wasn't to, show a tie between climate and the glaciers melting. First part of the 20th century, a lot of natural melting before human-induced climate change really got underway for the latter part of the 20th century. So I guess, how much do we know or not know about climate change playing a role in this?
Yep. So, yeah, like you mentioned, the paper was looking at, it's kind of a health of our glaciers, and we do these over time. What we're seeing is consistent with forecasting models of climate change in the next century. So in the next century, we're going to see a lot less ice on Mount Rainier, especially below 10,000 feet. And the glaciers that are up at the top of the mountain are going to persist, but their terminus elevations are going to rise. So the mountain will look a lot different. In terms of the human impacts with this, the melting rate that we're seeing is faster in the last 2 decades versus the period before this. So it is consistent with an anthropogenic climate change.
Scott Beason, a geologist at Mount Rainier, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Yep, thank you.
All right, I'll send it back to you.